The plates were barely set when my father laughed and said it loud enough for the whole table to hear. Honestly, no one in this family actually likes you. Forks paused. Then came the chuckles. My cousin covered his mouth, my sister smirked, and my mother didn't correct him. She just shook her head like it was some old, tired truth. You've always been strange, she added softly. Never fit in. I kept chewing. My sister leaned forward. Why do you even come to these dinners? You don't talk. You don't help. You just sit there like a guest. Her husband laughed. Maybe he thinks he's better than us. More laughter. I looked around the table, faces I had grown up loving, trusting, defending. People whose calls I answered at midnight. People whose problems I quietly fixed. People who never once asked how I was doing. They didn't see me as calm. They saw me as weak. They didn't see silence as dignity. They saw it as emptiness. My father pointed his fork at me. Say something. Or are you too proud now? I wiped my hands with a napkin and said only one thing. I hope you're all happy. They laughed again, louder this time. Someone muttered, see? Always dramatic. Inside, something didn't break. It just settled. I realized something simple that night. People who shout about your worth are usually afraid of their own. And people who mock you publicly have already lost your respect privately. I had come to share good news. A small envelope sat in my pocket, unopened. Something that could have changed the mood of that room forever. But respect isn't begged for. It's noticed too late. I stood up quietly, thanked my mother for dinner, and pushed my chair back without a sound. Where are you going? My sister asked. I smiled. Home. No anger. No argument. No explanation. Just a calm goodbye, and a decision I didn't need to say out loud. They thought they had won. They had no idea what I was about to do next. The morning after that dinner, I woke up before sunrise. No anger. No speeches in my head. Just clarity. I made tea, opened my notebook, and wrote 3 things. Work, discipline, distance. That was it. I stopped explaining myself. I stopped attending every family call. I stopped trying to prove I cared. Instead, I worked. Long mornings. Quiet nights. I took extra projects no one wanted. Learned skills no one saw. Saved money no one knew about. I fixed my habits the way mechanics fix engines. Slowly, carefully, without applause. While they were talking about me, I was rebuilding me. Months passed. I heard things through relatives. My cousin lost his job. My sister and her husband were fighting over money. My father's business deal went wrong because he trusted the wrong partner. At family gatherings, my name still came up, usually followed by laughter or complaints. He thinks he's special now. He never calls. Too proud to visit his own parents. They didn't know I had paid their electricity bill quietly 1 month through a friend. They didn't know I helped my uncle's loan paperwork anonymously. They didn't know I still cared, but I stopped needing their approval. Meanwhile, small changes started showing in my life. A better apartment, a promotion email, a new contract signed late at night while the city slept. I bought my first piece of furniture with my own money and sat on the floor smiling at it like it was gold. Peace felt expensive, but it was worth it. One evening, my mother called after months. "Your father needs help," she said carefully. "There's a meeting next week, important people involved." I listened. I didn't react. I didn't remind her of that dinner. "I'll think about it," I said. She sounded surprised. Maybe she expected anger. Maybe she expected begging. She didn't understand calm. A few days later, a relative accidentally mentioned something at a tea stall that the company meeting would include investors I had been working with for months. They had no idea. I didn't correct him. I didn't warn anyone. I just kept preparing, reviewing documents late into the night, polishing a presentation no one knew was mine. I wasn't proving them wrong. I was becoming someone who didn't need their opinion. At the next family call, my sister laughed and said, "You still doing nothing with your life?" I smiled into the phone. Something like that. They were still talking about me. I was already far ahead of them. The meeting room was quiet when I walked in. My father was already there, arguing softly with the investors, papers spread everywhere. My sister sat beside him, nervous for the first time in her life. They didn't notice me at first. Then the senior investor stood up, smiled, and said, "Good, you're here. We were waiting for you to lead this." My father turned. The room went still. He looked from me to the projector screen, to the folder in my hand with my name printed on the contract. Realization hit slowly, like winter cold. "You," he whispered. I nodded. No pride, no anger, just calm. For months, I had been the consultant behind the project that could save his business. The strategy, the contacts, the funding plan, all of it had my signature. I never mentioned it because I didn't need applause. I needed results. My sister's face lost color. My mother, sitting quietly in the back, covered her mouth. No one laughed now. My father cleared his throat. "Why didn't you tell us?" I met his eyes gently. "You never asked." Silence filled the room, heavier than any insult they'd thrown before. After the meeting, he tried to apologize. My sister tried too, words stumbling over pride. I listened, nodded, and didn't remind them of that dinner night. "I wish you well," I said calmly, "but I won't come back to the old place in this family. Respect should live there first. No shouting, no revenge, just distance and dignity." As I walked out, I realized something simple. Silence is not weakness. It is preparation. People mistake calm for incompetence, and respect arrives quietly when it's already too late. They thought I was weak because I was quiet. They didn't know I was simply busy becoming strong. A few weeks after the meeting, the noise around me faded. The family group chat, once full of jokes at my expense, became strangely polite. Messages started with beta instead of sarcasm. Emojis replaced mockery. Respect arrived carefully, like someone knocking on a door they once slammed. My father called one evening. His voice was slow, heavy. "I was wrong," he said. No excuses, just those 3 words. My sister sent a long apology, full of memories she suddenly remembered. How I helped her in school, how I fixed her wedding payments, quietly, how I always showed up when no one else did. I read everything, and I forgave them, but I didn't go back to who I used to be. Because forgiveness doesn't mean accepting the same disrespect again. And love without dignity is just habit. I kept my distance. Short visits, calm conversations, clear boundaries, no arguments, no old roles, just a quiet understanding that things had changed. They started treating me with care, not because I demanded it, but because silence had already taught them what shouting never could. I kept working, kept growing, kept protecting my peace like something rare. Some bridges don't burn, they just become one-way roads. And sometimes walking away with dignity is the only way people finally learn your worth.